The sound of champagne glasses clinking and pretentious laughter filled my mother's expansive garden. Her annual summer soiree was in full swing, with the usual suspects in attendance: doctors, lawyers, and business executives, all eager to outshine each other with tales of their latest achievements. I stood near the fountain, swirling my sparkling water and watching my older sister Victoria hold court among her physician friends. Even from here I could read her lips as she introduced her husband, head of neurosurgery at Boston General. Emma. My mother's voice carried across the garden. Come here, darling. People are asking about you. No, they weren't. But I walked over anyway, plastering on my professional smile, the same one I used when dealing with difficult parents during conferences. This is my younger daughter, Emma, Mom said to her circle of friends, her smile tight. She's a teacher. The way she said teacher made it sound like a terminal illness. Oh, how sweet, said Mrs. Harrison, wife of some hedge fund manager. At the elementary school, isn't it? High school, I corrected. Advanced physics and mathematics. Must be so rewarding, another woman simpered, clearly searching for something nice to say. Working with children, shaping young minds and all that. Victoria drifted over, champagne in hand. Though some of us shape actual brains, she quipped, earning appreciative chuckles from the group. I bit back a response. They didn't need to know about the revolutionary educational AI system I'd been developing for the past 5 years. Or about the quantum computing applications I'd integrated into my teaching methodology. Or about the fact that tomorrow Harvard University was announcing the largest educational research grant in its history. Still correcting papers and manning the detention hall? Victoria asked, her voice dripping with false concern. It must be so fulfilling. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. The display showed Dr. Richardson, Harvard president. Excuse me, I said, stepping away from the group. I need to take this. Probably a parent complaint, Victoria stage whispered. You know how they get about grades these days. I walked to a quiet corner of the garden, aware of the curious eyes following me. Dr. Mitchell, President Richardson's voice was warm. I hope I'm not interrupting anything important? Not at all, sir. Just a family gathering. Excellent. I wanted to personally confirm tomorrow's announcement. The board is thrilled with your research results. Your AI-driven educational platform is revolutionary. The implications for global education access are staggering. I glanced at my family and their friends, still watching me with mixture of pity and dismissal. The official announcement will be tomorrow at 10 a.m., he continued. $100 million, Dr. Mitchell. The largest educational research grant in Harvard's history. And it's all yours. Thank you, sir. I'm honored. Don't be modest, Emma. You've earned this. Your work combining quantum computing with adaptive AI learning systems. It's going to change education as we know it. The Nobel Committee has already expressed interest. As he spoke, I watched Victoria regaling her audience with another tale of her surgical prowess. Mom was beaming with pride as always. Will you be at tomorrow's ceremony? President Richardson asked. Wouldn't miss it. Excellent. Oh, and Emma, we'd like to offer you a full professorship. Your high school has done amazing work as your testing ground, but it's time to think bigger. Much bigger. I ended the call and turned back toward the party, where my mother was now introducing Victoria to the wife of a state senator. My brilliant daughter, the neurosurgeon, she was saying. She's performing groundbreaking surgery next month. I checked my watch. In less than 24 hours, every major news outlet would announce my name. The quiet high school teacher who'd revolutionized educational technology. The developer of an AI system that could adapt to any student's learning style in real time. The recipient of Harvard's largest research grant ever. But for now I just smiled and sipped my water, letting them believe what they wanted about the just a teacher in their midst. Pass the salt, Einstein, Victoria smirked across the dinner table. The garden party had dwindled to just family, Mom, Dad, Victoria, her surgeon husband Mark, and me. Mom had insisted we stay for dinner, probably hoping I'd be inspired by more tales of Victoria's medical brilliance. You know, Victoria continued, cutting into her salmon, I had the most fascinating brain surgery today. Removed a tumor while the patient was awake. Much more exciting than explaining fractions, I'm sure. I checked my phone under the table. CNN had just sent the pre-release briefing about tomorrow's announcement. The headline made me smile. Revolutionary AI education system receives historic $100 million grant. Emma phones away at dinner, Mom chided. It's rude. I'm sure those test papers can wait. Speaking of work, Victoria leaned forward. Did I mention I've been nominated for the Carter Innovation Award in neurosurgery? Mom, remember how I always said I'd change the world? Of course, darling. You were always so ambitious, even as a child. Mom beamed. Unlike. She glanced at me, leaving the comparison unspoken. My phone buzzed again. A message from my lead researcher at Harvard. Dr. Mitchell, MIT and Stanford are already requesting collaboration meetings. The quantum educational interface is generating unprecedented interest. Emma. Dad spoke up, his voice gentle. Have you considered Victoria's suggestion about getting a Real teaching credential? Private schools pay better than public ones. I looked up from my phone. I have all the credentials I need, Dad. But surely you want more from life? Mom pressed. You're brilliant, dear. You could have been anything, a doctor like your sister, a lawyer, something significant. Victoria nodded sagely. Remember when we were kids? Emma was always the smart one. Such a waste of potential, really. But I suppose someone has to teach basic math to teenagers. My quantum computing algorithm could solve complex mathematical equations faster than any human brain surgeon. The AI system I developed could process and adapt to individual learning patterns in microseconds. But they saw what they wanted to see. The quiet sister who'd settled for teaching. Did you hear about that new education technology everyone's talking about? Mark, Victoria's husband, suddenly asked. Some big announcement tomorrow. My hospital's looking into implementing it for resident training. Victoria rolled her eyes. Please, like some tech toy could replace real education. Besides, what do you know about it? Actually, Mark continued, scrolling through his phone, it's fascinating. They're saying it could revolutionize how we learn. Something about quantum computing and adaptive AI. Emma, this is more your speed, right? Being a teacher and all? I took a sip of water, hiding my smile. You could say that. Well, I think it's ridiculous, Victoria declared. Nothing can replace traditional teaching methods. This is probably just another Silicon Valley gimmick. Right, Emma? Before I could respond, the room filled with the sound of breaking news alerts. Everyone's phones went off simultaneously. Mom picked up her phone first, her eyes widening. Harvard University announces revolutionary breakthrough in educational technology. Historic $100 million grant awarded to... She stopped, staring at me. Victoria grabbed her own phone, her face draining of color as she read. Dr. Emma Mitchell, pioneering researcher and educator, awarded largest educational research grant in Harvard's history for groundbreaking quantum AI learning system. The silence in the room was deafening. But you're just a teacher, Victoria whispered. I stood up, straightening my jacket. I should go. I have an early morning tomorrow. Press conference at Harvard, you know how it is. I paused at the door. Oh, and Victoria? About that Carter Innovation Award nomination, congratulations. I was on the selection committee last year. It's quite an honor. The sound of another wine glass shattering behind me was particularly satisfying. The Harvard auditorium hummed with anticipation the next morning. Television cameras lined the back wall, and reporters from every major news outlet filled the seats. In the front row I spotted my family, Mom, Dad and Victoria, all looking shell-shocked. They'd received VIP invitations at midnight, courtesy of President Richardson. Dr. Mitchell? My assistant handed me a tablet showing live social media feeds. #Quantum Education was trending worldwide. Time magazine wants an exclusive. And the Nobel Committee sent another email. I nodded, scanning the latest metrics from our pilot program. 10,000 students across 5 continents, all learning at unprecedented rates thanks to my AI system. Children in remote villages accessing Harvard-level education through quantum-powered tablets. Medical residents mastering complex procedures through adaptive simulation programs. President Richardson approached the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today to announce what we believe is the single most important advancement in educational technology since the invention of the printing press. In the front row, Victoria shifted uncomfortably. Mom dabbed at her eyes with a handkerchief. 5 years ago, A brilliant young physicist approached me with an idea, Richardson continued. She suggested combining quantum computing with artificial intelligence to create an educational system that could adapt in real time to each student's unique learning pattern. Many called it impossible. Today we call it revolutionary. The screen behind him lit up with my research results. Graduation rates increased by 300%. Medical training time cut in half. Scientific breakthroughs accelerated through enhanced learning protocols. Please welcome to the stage the architect of this breakthrough, Harvard's newest full professor and recipient of our historic $100 million grant, Dr. Emma Mitchell. The applause was thunderous. As I walked to the podium, I caught Victoria's eye. For the first time in our lives, she was looking up at me. Education, I began, isn't about who's teaching. It's about how we learn. Every brain is unique. Every mind processes information differently. For too long, we've forced diverse minds into rigid learning patterns. The screens showed children in rural Africa mastering advanced physics through my AI interface. Medical students in Asia performing virtual surgery with quantum-enhanced precision. I chose to teach high school physics not because I couldn't do more, but because I needed to understand learning at its most fundamental level. My students weren't just teenagers learning equations. They were my research partners, helping me understand how different minds grasp complex concepts. In the front row, Mom was openly crying now. Dad looked like he couldn't decide whether to be proud or ashamed. Today we're not just announcing a grant. We're announcing the democratization of knowledge. Harvard's entire curriculum, adapted in real time for each learner. Medical training accelerated through quantum simulations. Scientific research enhanced by AI-driven educational protocols. I paused, looking directly at Victoria. Every field, from neurosurgery to nuclear physics, will be transformed by how we teach and learn. The press conference lasted 2 hours. Reporters asked about the Nobel nomination, the pending patents, the billions in potential applications. Through it all, my family sat silently, processing the reality that the sister they'd pitted had quietly changed the world. Afterward, in my new Harvard office, they came to see me. Victoria spoke first. "Why didn't you ever say anything?" she asked quietly. I gestured to the wall of patents and awards, all earned quietly over the years. "Would you have listened?" She started, then stopped. "Well, probably not." Mom stepped forward, clutching her designer handbag like a shield. "All those times we criticized your choices taught me an important lesson," I finished. "Success doesn't need an audience to be real." "The hospital board wants to implement your system," Victoria said suddenly. They want you to train me to lead the medical education division." I smiled, remembering all the times she'd called me just a teacher. "I think," I said, picking up a quantum tablet, "that's a perfect place to start. Lesson 1. Everyone has something to learn and everyone has something to teach." As I began explaining the basics of quantum educational theory to my stunned sister, I caught our reflection in the office window. 2 successful women, each brilliant in her own way, finally meeting as equals. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving others wrong about you. It's proving yourself right about what you can achieve regardless of what they believe. And sometimes, just sometimes, those who dismissed you end up becoming your most dedicated students.